Hello, everybody, and welcome to Fast Money Football. I'm your host, Albert Vartanian, joined by my sidekick today. It's the one and only Sara Poraria. Sarah's joining me. We're going to be talking about today's FA Cup matches. We have a Premier League match between Burnley and Leicester City and the Coppa Italia. It's the Milan derby, AC Milan against Inter Milan. But let's begin with the FA Cup. It's the fifth round. So a quick look at the current odds to win it. At the top of the list, obviously, Manchester City plus 190. Behind them, Liverpool plus 375, the most recent Carabao Cup winners. Then you have Chelsea plus 450, Spurs plus 700, Everton plus 1100, and West Ham rounded out at plus 1100. Sarah, Manchester City have Peterborough United in the fifth round. A very good tie for them, probably a routine win. Do you see them going all the way in this tournament?
Yeah, I mean, we have seen that they can lose, but City are just too, in my opinion, they're just too consistent right now. Their form is great. Their bench is deep. We've talked about this week in and week out. I wouldn't be surprised if we see City in the final. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if we see City win the whole thing.
City are going to want some silverware. I mean, they're still obviously in the Premier League title race, Champions League. And that's one thing I want to mention. I mean, they have Champions League matchup coming up against Sporting. So I'd be concerned with the starting 11. But with that said, they did beat them 5-0 in the first leg. That tie is virtually over. So I feel like Pep will go out there with his strongest squad. I don't think he needs a strongest squad to beat Peterborough United. You know, dead last in the championship. They conceded 66 goals in 33 matches. If he puts out his C team, I mean, he'll be able to pick up a result here. But I do expect a strong showing from his side.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. I think he's gonna do that because, like you said, with the Champions League, I think there might be a better chance that we see a B or a C team for City
Yeah.
against Sporting versus Peterborough because this is a different competition completely, and they've kind of secured their spot in the next round of the UCL. But we have to also mention that Peterborough are, like you said, dead last, and their coach Ferguson just resigned like a week and a half ago.
Yeah.
So this team is in shambles to say the least. So I think, yeah, comfortable City win and probably a great starting lineup for them.
Yeah, really horrible tie. And when it comes to Manchester City's B team or C team, you're going to still see like a Riyad Mahrez or a Jack Grealish or Raheem Sterling. You're going to see some top midfielders in the middle of the park. You're going to see some youth who are very good as well. I mean, they just have the depth. I mean, if you look at the center back situation, Nathan Ake is like third string center back, and he'll probably come in for this type of matchup. So City win. I'm with you, though. There's no value betting on this game. Like, even if you add City plus over 4.5 goals, that's less than 2-1. So I don't see any value unless you really want to throw some money on Peterborough United to cause the upsets of all upsets, but I just don't see it happening.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't. Yeah, I had for this. Of course, I'm taking City to win, and I had over 3.5 because I was just like, I'm expecting goals from them. But yeah, if you're saying it's only 2-1 for four, it's not. It's a routine win.
Yeah, yeah, no value in this. Don't even throw it in a parlay. Let's move on to another matchup that I think will be closely contested. Crystal Palace minus 185 at home under the lights at Selhurst Park, which should be very interesting. It's going to add to the atmosphere, taking on former Premier League team Stoke City, who's currently in the championship. Plus 500. Stoke, mid-table side in the championship, not playing very well at the moment. They're winless in 4 and have lost their last 2. I really like Palace here. And I think one important thing to note, Palace are relatively safe in the Premier League. They're not going to go down. They're not in a relegation battle. So I think that allows their manager, Patrick Vieira, to put out a strong squad. And that's why I think they'll just edge this one for that reason.
Yeah, no, I have Palace to win this game as well, but I'm taking both teams to score because Stoke, even though they're
Oh,
15th in the championship,
yeah.
they've been scoring goals. So I expect them, especially at home. I think we're going to see them put one in the back of the net, but I do think Palace have a bit more capability to win this game, and they also have only lost one of their last 6 matches. Like it's a weird team. Like they're 11th, but yeah, like you kind of said it. Like they're just kind of coasting, and they're kind of just like we're doing what we need to. We're gonna hang in the middle of the table and just kind of get by.
I said at the beginning of the season that I thought Patrick Vieira was going to be the first manager sacked because I figured he's going to come in, he's going to go 0-5, 0-6. Like I think Frank de Boer came in and lost the first 5 matches and was sacked. So I thought the same for Vieira, just because I'm like, well, what has he done? He managed Nice in France and he went into the MLS. I just didn't really see much from him. But you mean past halfway through the season, he's a very good manager. And they're actually a really good attacking side. I mean, under Roy Hodgson, defensive team, as we're seeing with Roy Hodgson at Watford. That type of manager is obviously brought in to keep teams in the Premier League. I think with Vieira, he gives his players a license to attack, and he's got really good attacking players up front with Zaha. Eduard is scoring goals. Michael Olise is back on the scene. He's getting Eberici Eze back into the mix. So I think going forward, Palace is very good. I don't want to pick a winner here because I do think there can be a cup set just because I think it's closely contested and Stoke will have a go, but I do see goals. I think Palace to score over 1.5 team total goals, minus 130, pretty good value at home.
Yeah, no, like I'm taking the both teams to score as well, but I actually am going to take Palace to win this game. I feel like they have, everything to win. They should win this game. They've kind of been doing okay, so I'm going to take Palace, but both teams to score for sure.
All right, a big one. Middlesbrough plus 400 taking on Spurs minus 150. Let's not forget, Middlesbrough, they did beat Manchester United at Old Trafford on penalties. I know everyone's going to look at that game and like, well, if they can beat United, they can definitely take down Spurs at home. It will be a tough matchup, but let's also not forget, in that game, United had multiple chances to finish the game. They really could have finished the game in the first half. Bruno Fernandes had an open net and hit the post near the end of the match. I think if United took their chances, we wouldn't have Middlesbrough here. And that's not taking anything away from them, but that's just kind of looking deeper past the result. It'll be a tough matchup, obviously, for Spurs because they've been up and down. But I think the Spurs' quality will overshadow Middlesbrough, who are kind of slipping at the moment. But that's just from what I've seen so far. And obviously, the result for Spurs against Leeds kind of is in the back of my mind as well. You can see that attack clicking with Kulusevski, Kane, and Son. But what do you think?
Yeah, you know what? It's tough. Look at the Spurs team. We talk about them every week.
Oh,
They
yeah.
lose to Wolves. They lose to City. They beat or they're who did they lost to Burnley rather. They
You lost to
beat
Burnley, yeah.
City. Then they beat Leeds 4-0. Like this team is so up and down. There's no chance I'm taking Spurs. I'm not taking Borough. I'm staying away from this. This
Yeah.
game has unknown all over it. I think it's unfortunately what you're saying makes sense. I completely agree. Burrow got a bit lucky, not to take anything away from them. United had a very tough game against them, but I can't take Spurs. I can't. I absolutely will not.
No, I'm with you. I'm not taking a winner either because I really do think that Middlesbrough can cause a surprise here. I just really feel that Spurs' attack can really trump Middlesbrough defense, specifically because their defense hasn't been that good. I mean, they gave up 2 goals to League Two Mansfield prior to playing Manchester United in the FA Cup. 1 clean sheet in their last 11, and now they get a Spurs team who's coming off scoring 4 goals, and the manager is back on the team side, at least we think for now. So instead of going to the winner's market, I'm with you. I'm staying away. But like Palace, I'm going with Spurs over 1.5 team total, minus 125 to score 2 goals. And I see that happening.
Yeah, no, I'm keeping it under 3.5. I think it's gonna be like both teams score. I think we're gonna see like a 2-1 maybe, but I don't think it's gonna be high scoring. So yeah, both teams and under 3.5 for me.
Okay, to the Premier League, to a team, as you mentioned, that beats Spurs, Burnley, plus 190 at home to Leicester City, plus 145. This is a tale of 2 teams who are going in opposite directions at the moment. Burnley's going up, Leicester is going down. Burnley, they beat Brighton 3-0, Spurs 1-0. They just drew Palace away 1-1. 7 points from a possible 9 in their last few games. What have you made of their performances recently?
Of Burnley or Leicester, sorry, or both.
Burnley.
Burnley's been such that kind of the under the radar team that's been taking points away from everyone.
Hmm.
And like for them, it's good. Even if they get a draw, good for them. That's great. I mean, they beat Spurs, but like these draws for them are just helping them so much, just kind of creep out of that, relegation zone and stay in the Prem if they can.
Yeah.
This is great for them.
It's pretty incredible what Sean Dyche does season in and season out. He's on a shoestring budget. They barely spend any of that money on transfers, and he's able to keep them in the Premier League. It's going to be tough. This may be the year that they go down, but I think they've made some good moves at the deadline and the way that they're playing at the moment. I mean, you kind of have to give them the edge to stay up. It's going to be difficult, but now they have Leicester at home. Leicester, they're really struggling, like really, really struggling. No wins in the last 5 Premier League games. Yes, they won their Europa Conference League match this past week against Randers FC from Denmark Superliga. But their away form is horrible as well. 7 losses and 8 away all competitions. Burnley, I think early in the season, would have been closer to 3-1, maybe even 4-1 against Leicester, but at plus 200, I think this game is actually a lot closer than the line suggests. I'm not going to complicate this one. I think Burnley at home at plus 200 or plus 190. What it depends where you make your bet. I think it's actually decent value.
Yeah, no, it's not bad at all. You have to also mention that Leicester still have a ton of injuries under their belt as
Yeah,
well. So
yeah,
I think it's going to be a really tough game. But in my eyes, this game has draw written all over it. I'm seeing a 1-1. I don't know. This game is. I would actually like Burnley to win because I'm kind of liking this little fairy tale story they have going for them. But I still expect Leicester to be able to score. I don't know, maybe that's too much of me, but
Mm.
I'm staying away from the win again. Again, I'm not picking winners today. No way.
The draw can be backed at plus 215. If you like Burnley and possibly the draw, you can go Burnley draw no bet plus 110. So if they draw, you get your money back. If they win, you get paid. And one thing to consider, Leicester City give up the most goals from set pieces. That they're actually tied at 13 with Leeds. And Burnley, that's their specialty. They got Veghorst, who's 6'6" or 6'9". Then you have Ben Mee, who's scoring from set pieces. He scored that one goal against Spurs from a set piece. So I think they're dangerous from there. I think that's where the goals are going to come from. I see like a 1-0, but I'm with you. I can also see a draw as well. So if you don't want to back Burnley straight up or Leicester, you can go draw no bet plus 110. Okay, to the final game we're going to cover today. It's a big one. Coppa Italia, the Milan derby, AC Milan, Inter Milan, AC plus 250, Inter plus 105. Who do you like here?
It's a really tough one to call. Again, all of these games are so difficult. Something
Yeah.
deep down inside of me is telling me Inter is going to win this game because they've just been in they need to win this game. Their form has been, not up to par with the talent of this team. I think they need it more. We have to also remember there's two legs of the Coppa Italia, and there's no away goals as well. So I don't know. Could we see them potentially sitting and just there because they're technically the away team today? I don't know, but I can see Inter taking this maybe.
Yeah.
I think once again it depends on who starts this game. We've talked about this before, but you need to start Alexis Sanchez. I'm tired of seeing Lautaro Martinez. He is now gone in his last 8 games for Serie A without scoring. These are just the stats. You
Right.
got to make a decision as a coach to switch something up, and that's not a bad sub to come in on the 60th if you need someone else to change, come in. So I don't know. For me, the Inter is slightly more in favor, but it's going to be tight because Milan's form is also it's been better. They won the last Derby d'Italia.
Mhm.
I don't know. What do you think?
I like both teams. I think I'm going to stay away from the winners market. I like both
Mhm.
teams to score. I mean, that's hit in each of their games this season. But you make a good point. Obviously, this being 2 legs, the first one could be cagey and tight. Plus 230 for a draw really isn't that bad. And if you want to back one of these teams, to me, the line suggests that Inter are heavier favorites, obviously at plus 105. But I think this is a much closer game than the line suggests. So if I'm going to go with potentially a draw no bet or a team to win, I think I like AC just for the value, plus 150 draw no bet for AC Milan. I really think this is a 50-50 game. I like to draw a lot, but if I'm going to back a team with a little bit of safety on the back end of my bet, AC Milan draw no bet.
Yeah, I didn't even pick a winner for this game once
Yeah.
again, but I have both teams to score. I have it under 2.5, but if you want to feel crazy, I'm gonna take Inter to score first.
Oh, I like that. Why
Mhm.
is that?
I just think they're gonna come out a little bit guns blazing. Like I said, I think they have more to prove in this game. You have to remember that also Milan are out of the UCL now, so
Right.
they have Inter's kind of spreading themselves out a little thin. So I think it's gonna mean more for Inter. So I think they're just gonna come out a little bit stronger. But yeah, that being said, I expect Milan to score in this game. I just think it'll be Inter to do it first.
Yeah, Inter team to score first goal minus 135, AC Milan plus 125. And if you're backing no goals at all, plus 900. So don't back the draw. If you're backing clean sheets, plus 900, some crazy value there. So much soccer going on. We're going to be back
So
tomorrow
much.
for more throughout the week. We're getting games up until the weekend, which is fantastic. I hope this continues to happen week in and week out. For Sara Poraria, you can follow her at Sara Poraria on Twitter. You can follow me at the Real Bert V on Twitter. And if you want to watch more parlay content, which you guys should, follow us at the parlay and head over to parlay.tv. Good luck today, guys.